Meghan Markle.
Oh, the photo.
The
gate.
photo gate from Mom's 70th.
It was really innocent, which is so crazy. Mom and Meghan have been friends for some years now, and they have a really sweet relationship. We took a photo, and then I think we were all going through them. We're all, communicating about like what we're going to post.
Kim Kardashian just dropped the ultimate bombshell, and it's shocking the world. She's exposing Meghan Markle's secret life on Epstein's island, revealing hidden parties, dangerous connections, and explosive truths no one dared speak about. Names, scandals, and shocking betrayals are coming to light. And this time, no one is safe.
We were told that it was totally cool to post, and then after it was posted, I think they realized it was Remembrance Day, and they didn't want to be seen at a party, even though it's already up. And then taken down. And then I think they realized like, oh, this was so silly.
And they did Baby to Baby right before.
Well,
they
it's
did
like a
red
charity
carpet.
event.
What Kim is about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about Meghan, the royals, and the elite circles they run in. This is the story that's going to blow the internet, and you won't believe what comes next. The latest release of documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein has once again pulled powerful names back into public discussion. Over the past few years, court records, depositions, flight logs, and related materials have been unsealed in phases, often after lengthy legal battles. Each new batch tends to trigger intense media coverage and online debate, even when the contents do not introduce entirely new allegations. The reason is simple. Epstein's case was never just about one man. It exposed a network of wealth, influence, and access that crossed politics, business, entertainment, and royalty. When additional files were made public, headlines quickly focused on any recognizable names mentioned in the documents. It is important to understand what that actually means. Being named in a document does not automatically imply wrongdoing. In many cases, individuals appear because they were referenced in witness statements, email chains, or social circles. Courts and investigative reporters have repeatedly cautioned against assuming guilt by association. The distinction between mentioned and accused has become one of the most misunderstood aspects of the Epstein document releases. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019 on federal charges related to sex trafficking of minors. His death in jail later that year intensified scrutiny rather than quieting it. Public distrust grew, and many questioned whether all relevant information would ever come to light. Since then, lawsuits filed by victims, defamation cases, and appeals over sealed records have gradually forced more material into the open. Among the most widely reported proceedings was the civil case involving Virginia Giuffre, who accused Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell of trafficking her to powerful men. Court filings connected to that litigation are among the sources of the recently unsealed documents. When the new material began circulating online, social media users immediately started combing through names, sometimes without context. Screenshots spread rapidly, lists were shared. Some posts implied that every individual mentioned must have been involved in criminal conduct. However, legal analysts and major news outlets have stressed that the documents largely contain references, schedules, and communications that require careful reading. In many instances, a person may have been referenced in passing or in an entirely different context unrelated to wrongdoing. One of the names that resurfaced in online discussion was Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Claims began circulating on social media suggesting that she appeared in the files in connection with Epstein. Fact-checking organizations and mainstream outlets reviewed the documents in question. Their findings were consistent. There is no verified evidence that Meghan Markle was involved in Epstein's criminal activity or that she visited his private island. In some cases, her name appeared indirectly in broader email chains or discussions, but not in a way that established any relationship with Epstein himself. It is worth explaining how names can appear in these types of files. When courts unseal large volumes of material, that material often includes deposition transcripts. During depositions, lawyers may ask witnesses about a wide range of public figures, social circles, or rumors, even if those individuals have no direct involvement in the alleged crimes. The purpose is to establish context or challenge credibility. As a result, a public figure's name can appear simply because someone mentioned them in conversation. Without reading the surrounding text, it is easy for social media users to draw inaccurate conclusions. The renewed attention also reflects a broader pattern in how the Epstein story has unfolded. From the start, the case has intersected with famous names. Epstein was known to cultivate relationships with high-profile individuals, attending events and social gatherings in elite circles. That does not automatically implicate every person who crossed paths with him. Still, the presence of celebrities and politicians in flight logs or contact books has fueled public suspicion. Each new document release reignites the same cycle. Names trend online, speculation grows, and then fact-checkers step in to clarify what the documents actually show. For Meghan specifically, the scrutiny is amplified by her status as a member of the British royal family by marriage and as a global public figure. Since stepping back from official royal duties, she and Prince Harry have remained frequent subjects of media attention in both the United Kingdom and the United States. Any suggestion of involvement in a major scandal, even if unverified, travels quickly. Analysts who reviewed the recent document release have stated that while her name may have appeared in tangential contexts, there is no documentation placing her on Epstein's island or linking her to his criminal network. This distinction matters. The difference between documented evidence and online rumor is significant, especially in cases involving serious criminal allegations. Reputable reporting has repeatedly underlined that speculation should not be treated as proof. The Epstein files are complex legal documents, not curated summaries. Extracting a single name without context can create a misleading narrative. At the same time, public interest in transparency remains strong. Many victims and advocacy groups have called for the full, unredacted release of documents where legally possible. They argue that sunlight is essential for accountability. Government agencies and courts must balance that demand with privacy laws and the rights of individuals who may be mentioned but not accused of wrongdoing. That tension has shaped each stage of the document releases. Another factor contributing to renewed attention is the broader cultural climate. In recent years, high-profile investigations involving powerful figures have increased public awareness of how influence operates behind closed doors. The Epstein case became symbolic of perceived systemic failures in oversight, in accountability, and in the ability to prosecute well-connected individuals. When additional records emerge, people are primed to assume that explosive revelations are hidden within them, even when the contents are procedural or repetitive. It is also important to recognize how quickly misinformation can spread. On platforms like X, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit, posts can reach millions within hours. A claim framed as a question, for example, "Why is Meghan's name in the Epstein files?" can imply wrongdoing without directly stating it. By the time fact-checkers respond, the impression may already be formed in the minds of readers. This dynamic has affected numerous public figures whose names have appeared in the broader Epstein record. Legal experts have pointed out that the Epstein documents should be interpreted carefully and systematically. They include contact books, flight logs, depositions, and correspondence. Some entries may reflect nothing more than an attempted introduction or a cancelled meeting. Others might record travel that was unrelated to any criminal conduct. In complex investigations, context is everything. In the case of Meghan Markle, the available reporting indicates that there is no substantiated evidence tying her to Epstein's criminal activities. That does not necessarily stop speculation, particularly when discussions shift from established facts to online commentary. The public appetite for dramatic revelations can blur the line between reporting and rumor. Part of understanding the current moment involves stepping back and recognizing how narratives evolve. When a high-profile individual is trending in connection with a scandal, the story often takes on a life of its own. Commentators may frame events as strategic moves, personal betrayals, or calculated exposures, even when no such evidence exists. The risk is that complex legal developments become simplified into viral storylines. As more documents continue to be reviewed and analyzed, reputable outlets are likely to keep clarifying what is and is not supported by evidence. Transparency in legal proceedings is essential, but so is accuracy in interpreting those proceedings. For viewers and readers, distinguishing between verified reporting and online speculation is key. At this stage, the factual position remains clear. While new Epstein-related documents have prompted renewed discussion across media platforms, there is no confirmed evidence that Meghan Markle was involved in Epstein's crimes or visited his island. Mentions in large document sets do not equate to participation. Understanding that nuance is essential before moving into broader discussions about how public figures respond to controversy, or how online narratives develop around them. The renewed focus on the Epstein files demonstrates how unresolved questions continue to shape public conversation. It also shows how quickly familiar names can be drawn into debates that may or may not be grounded in documented fact. In any situation involving serious allegations, careful reading and responsible reporting are not optional, they are necessary. The public conversation around Kim Kardashian and Meghan Markle has evolved in unexpected ways over the past several months, and it's worth unpacking how this unfolded and why it matters to the broader narrative about celebrity relationships and media speculation. Part 2 of our video script is focused on what has been dubbed Photogate, the social media drama and rumors that linked Kim Kardashian, Meghan Markle, and their respective circles, and how that became part of the larger conversation. In late 2025, a moment that might otherwise have been a standard celebrity event became a headline when guests at a high-profile party were photographed, and then the images quickly disappeared from social media. The party in question was Kris Jenner's 70th birthday celebration, an A-list gathering attended by a wide swathe of celebrities, including Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Footage and photos from the night initially circulated online, as they often do when famous faces are in the room, but it wasn't long before certain images vanished from public view. Specifically, photos that featured Meghan Markle and Prince Harry alongside Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner were quietly removed from the social media accounts of both Kardashian and Jenner. The deletion of those photos set off a wave of speculation. People began asking why the pictures were initially posted if they were going to be taken down, and why only certain images seemed to disappear. In the vacuum left by deleted posts, social media narratives flourished. Some users and commentators assumed the change reflected an interpersonal conflict, with Kardashian allegedly unhappy about something to do with Markle and Harry. Rumors ranged from contractual issues over photo consent to claims of perceived slights or clashing personalities. Multiple reports emerged from entertainment news sites and celebrity gossip sources trying to make sense of the situation. A common early explanation suggested that Meghan and Harry had declined to sign a photo consent form before the party, meaning they did not want images including them to be shared publicly. In that telling, the photos were pulled because consent was not properly granted, and once that came to light, the host simply honored the couple's wishes. However, there were conflicting reports about whether such a consent form existed at all. Another version circulated online stating that no formal consent arrangement was made, and that the deletion of the photos was simply a choice made by the Kardashian-Jenner team after the fact. This version of events suggested that the photos were removed for reasons unrelated to any documentary consent, and that the entire scenario became muddled through lack of clear communication. Amid this swirl of speculation, Kim Kardashian eventually spoke publicly about the situation. Rather than confirming that there had been a feud, she explained the circumstances around the deleted photos with a very different tone. Speaking on her sister Khloe Kardashian's podcast, Kim characterized the removal of the assets photos as an innocent and uncontroversial decision. According to her, the images were taken down in part because the timing of their original posting coincided with Remembrance Day, a holiday of particular cultural importance in the United Kingdom. Sharing photos of a party on a day meant to commemorate those who have served and died in war, she said, was not something they wanted to appear insensitive. Kim emphasized that she and Jenner had been advised that posting the photos was permissible and that they had a cordial relationship with Meghan Markle. She noted that the decision to remove them was discussed among those involved, and that it was never meant to cause controversy or be interpreted as a snub. Her explanation aimed to calm the surrounding discussion and to frame the situation as a matter of optics and timing rather than personal animosity. Despite that explanation, the online conversation did not entirely quiet down. Celebrity gossip sites and social media commentators continued to speculate about the motivations of those involved. Some suggested that Markle's team had become uncomfortable with the attention the photos drew, which may have prompted a request for them to be taken down. Others spun narratives about a culture clash between the Hollywood circles of the Kardashians and the royal associations of Meghan and Harry. There were also reports, largely circulated on social platforms, that suggested Meghan Markle was upset about how the situation was handled, particularly after Kim Kardashian publicly explained the reasons for the photo deletions. According to some of these accounts, Markle was said to have made what was described as a panic call to Kris Jenner, uncomfortable with how the matter was being portrayed and concerned about the narrative being shaped around her. Sources claimed that the Duchess wanted a more sensitive framing, whereas Kim opted for a casual and straightforward explanation, leading to tension behind the scenes. Some of these accounts, the idea of a feud seemed to be taking shape, with descriptions of Kim Kardashian as still very angry about the situation months later. Some commentary framed it as though the optics of the birthday party drama had overshadowed the intention of celebrating Kris Jenner's milestone, and thus caused lingering resentment. At the same time, broader news reporting and factual sources emphasized that there was no official confirmation of any deep personal rift between Markle and Kardashian. When controversies of this sort emerge in celebrity circles, it is common for multiple versions of events to circulate, often amplified by online discussion and the tendency towards sensational framing. What might have been a minor social media decision became a talking point precisely because of the fame of the individuals involved. The whole situation illustrates how public figures are interpreted through different lenses, depending on the platform, the audience, and the incentives of various commentators. Facts can quickly become entwined with assumptions, and a relatively straightforward decision, in this case about posting photos, can take on outsized meaning. It also shows how the perception of personal relationships among celebrities can be shaped as much by public interpretation as by what is actually happening behind closed doors. In the broader context of our discussion about how names and images circulate in online discourse, the Photogate episode highlights just how rapidly narratives can evolve. An initial deletion of photos triggered speculation about animosity, strategy, and even rivalry, and that speculation generated its own momentum. Public commentary often filled gaps in information with implications that were not necessarily grounded in confirmed facts, which in turn shaped the way people understood the relationships involved. By early 2026, Kim Kardashian had sought to address the matter directly, attempting to clarify that there was no feud and that the context of the photo removal was misinterpreted by many. Her account was that the removal was a respectful choice related to timing and sensitivity rather than a calculated slight or personal attack. Whether or not all observers accept that explanation, it stands as the most direct statement from one of the individuals at the center of the story. It reflects an effort to bring context and nuance to a situation that might otherwise have been oversimplified by social media narratives. This moment serves as a reminder that public personas, media framing, and speculation often intersect in ways that complicate what is real and what is simply rumor. What remains clear is that the so-called feud between Kim Kardashian and Meghan Markle has more to do with public perception and social media dynamics than with any verified personal conflict. The context around the photo deletions and the subsequent clarifications from Kardashian suggest that this episode was not the dramatic personal falling out that some headlines implied, but rather an example of how quickly social media narratives can outpace the facts. When millions of pages of court records, emails, and other files are suddenly released to the public, it's natural that people will pore over them looking for famous names. High-profile documents attract attention precisely because they involve well-known cases and powerful individuals. But the nature of the released material matters, and context is everything. One recurring misunderstanding is the idea that if a name appears in a document, that must mean wrongdoing or direct involvement. That is not how legal documents work, and treating every mention as evidence can lead to serious misinterpretation. Legal filings and released files associated with the Epstein case contain a wide variety of content: deposition transcripts, attorney correspondence, witness statements, emails, and other material. Some entries include references to news, articles, discussions about media coverage, or contextual mentions of broader topics. That means a public figure's name can appear because someone was quoting an article about them, or discussing how the media portrayed them, rather than because the person is the subject of the case itself. In the case of Meghan Markle, credible reporting indicates that her name appears in the released files only in an email chain discussing a news article that mentioned both Prince Harry and her. Importantly, this was not presented as evidence of involvement in Epstein's criminal conduct or direct social interaction with Epstein or his associates. Her name came up as part of contextual discussion, which is very different from being a named subject of investigation. The risk of misunderstanding increases dramatically when sensational headlines start circulating on social media. One widely shared type of post is the so-called Epstein list, an extended roster of celebrity names supposedly revealed in recent court documents. Such lists are often shared without context, implying that everyone named was involved in Epstein's activities in some personal or criminal way. Detailed checks of at least one viral list showed that many names commonly circulated online are either not in the released documents at all or are mentioned in non-incriminating ways. This pattern helps explain why an individual's name might show up in a conversation about the files even if they had no direct connection to Epstein. Some online posts speculate about names appearing in databases like black books or flight logs, but even that kind of appearance does not equate to evidence of wrongdoing. There are publicly available flight log compilations and contact lists associated with Epstein that show associations with many famous people. However, being listed in a contact book or mentioned in a log is not sufficient to prove criminal conduct or participation in illegal activity. Courts and journalists note that many references in the files stem from social or professional contexts rather than criminal ones, and emphasize that inclusion in a flight log or email does not automatically indicate knowledge of or involvement in Epstein's crimes. Another reason these rumors gain traction is the role of social media in amplifying speculation. On platforms with rapid commentary and limited space for nuance, posts asserting dramatic claims can spread widely in a matter of hours. One example is a Reddit thread that claimed there was a list publicly released by the US Attorney General naming both Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in the Epstein files. Comments in those posts tended to draw broad conclusions about what that meant, ranging from assertions of contact to more extreme speculation about types of interaction. But when you look closely at that type of content, it becomes clear that the inclusion of a name does not by itself prove involvement, and many posts openly acknowledge that context was unknown or unclear. This is also why rumors like those alleging that Meghan was present on Epstein's island or had any form of relationship with Epstein's entourage have no credible evidence to support them. Detailed investigations into claims like a supposed yacht girl connection or romantic involvement with individuals in Epstein's network have consistently been debunked by research and fact-checking organizations. Those reviews found no authenticated photos, event records, or verified witness testimony that place Meghan Markle on Epstein's boat, island, or in a position of involvement in his crimes. Some of the rumors originated from misidentified images or were based on speculative online commentary rather than verifiable information. Even more outlandish claims, such as those suggesting that Ghislaine Maxwell made shocking assertions about Meghan's past, tend to stem from tabloids or unverified accounts rather than credible reporting. These stories often feed off people's appetite for dramatic narratives, but they do not stand up to scrutiny. When such claims are examined with a critical eye, they typically lack confirmation from reliable sources and rest on anonymous or hearsay assertions that cannot be substantiated. That doesn't stop them from circulating widely online, but it does affect how they should be treated in any responsible discussion. The phenomenon isn't limited to just one public figure. In many cases, viral posts have falsely claimed that talk show hosts, actors, or other celebrities appear in real Epstein court documents, only to be demonstrated later to be completely fabricated. One notable example involved a viral image purporting to show a talk show host in deposition transcripts, which was proven to be fake when the actual court documents were checked and the name did not appear at all. Instances like this highlight how easily misinformation can enter the public sphere and be mistaken for legitimate evidence. Part of understanding the current discourse is recognizing the difference between contextual reference and accusation. When an email discusses a news article that mentions a public figure, their name can be in the files without any implication of wrongdoing. When a flight log includes a name, it might reflect a social or professional connection unrelated to any criminal conduct. Even when someone's name appears in a broader list generated from documents, that does not mean they were ever present in criminal settings or associated with the activities at the center of the case. Legal experts emphasize that in large document dumps, the presence of names is often the result of procedural or contextual material, not evidence of guilt. The broader lesson here is that public speculation often fills in gaps left by incomplete information with stories that sound dramatic but are unsupported by facts. When people encounter a list of names and assume all of those listed must be somehow implicated, they overlook the complexity and diversity of content within legal records. Drawing firm conclusions from partial information can lead to misleading narratives that harm reputations and distract from verified aspects of major cases. In discussions about the Epstein files, responsible reporting and critical thinking are essential. Sensational interpretations should be approached with caution And it's important to distinguish between what has been verified and what remains unconfirmed or speculative. Treating every name in a document dump as evidence of complicity does not reflect how legal documents function, and it risks conflating patterns of coincidence with proofs of narrative. Content that emerges from online forums, social media speculation, or tabloid sources should be clearly differentiated from factual reporting grounded in official documents and verified context. Ultimately, examining these rumors critically helps maintain a clear line between widely shared speculation and what is supported by documentation. In the case of Meghan Markle, Kim Kardashian, and many other public figures whose names have circulated in connection with the Epstein files, discerning viewers should take care to look at what the documents actually show rather than what sensational posts claim. The files contain a vast array of material, and names appearing within them do not automatically equate to allegations of criminal conduct, association with crimes, or evidence of presence at Epstein properties or events. That understanding is crucial if we are to engage with these discussions in a way that is both fair and grounded in fact. One of the key factors in the continuing public discussion is the speed at which information spreads online. The release of new documents related to Epstein has often triggered viral social media discussions, where the emphasis is frequently on the names that appear rather than the context in which they appear. Every time a well-known figure is mentioned, speculation escalates. Users make assumptions, create timelines, and draw connections between events, even if the documents themselves contain no evidence of wrongdoing. This has been true for Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian, whose names have circulated in online discussions in ways that do not reflect verified evidence. It demonstrates how quickly the court of public opinion can form narratives based on incomplete information. Legal documents connected to Epstein's case are complex, often running into thousands of pages. They include court filings, deposition transcripts, witness statements, emails, flight logs, and other materials. Each type of document serves a different purpose in the legal process. Deposition transcripts, for example, are used to gather testimony under oath, and witnesses may be asked about names, events, and relationships to provide context. The presence of a name in a deposition does not indicate criminal activity. Emails and correspondence may discuss public events, news articles, or social observations, which can result in names being mentioned without any connection to criminal conduct. Flight logs and contact books can include a broad range of acquaintances or professional contacts. Interpreting these documents correctly requires careful reading and a clear understanding of legal procedures. Social media and online commentary have magnified misunderstandings of these documents. Users often post screenshots or excerpts without context, creating a narrative that the documents themselves do not support. In some cases, posts imply that individuals were directly involved in illicit activity, when in reality the name might have appeared in a discussion or as part of broader contextual information. This pattern demonstrates how misinformation can thrive even in the presence of primary source material, because the nuances of legal documentation are often overlooked by those sharing content online. In addition to misinterpretation, there is a psychological factor at play. People are drawn to dramatic stories, particularly those involving wealth, fame, and scandal. When a celebrity's name appears in association with a notorious figure like Epstein, audiences often instinctively assume the worst. This phenomenon is amplified by the repetitive nature of social media, where the same claims are reshared, often with additional commentary that inflates the significance of the mention. Over time, the repeated framing can create a perception that the individual is implicated, even if the documents themselves provide no supporting evidence. The situation becomes even more complicated when media outlets report on speculation as if it were fact. Headlines may emphasize the appearance of a name in a document without clarifying the context, creating an impression of guilt by association. Even when journalists clarify that no criminal involvement is indicated, the initial impression often lingers in the public mind. This dynamic has played a role in the continued attention around both Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian, whose names have surfaced in various social media discussions related to the Epstein files. Despite clarifications, the association persists online, demonstrating the enduring power of public perception. In examining how these narratives evolve, it is also important to understand the broader social and cultural environment. The Epstein case has exposed systemic issues involving access, privilege, and exploitation. The case itself is about more than individual acts. It has revealed patterns of behavior within elite networks. As a result, discussions about the case often extend beyond direct legal findings and into wider social commentary. When celebrity names are mentioned, the public tends to interpret them through the lens of power dynamics, privilege, and influence. This is why even tangential or indirect references can lead to speculation about participation or complicity. The role of advocacy groups and victims' voices in this process is significant. Many victims and activists have called for the full release of documents, arguing that transparency is essential for justice. While these calls are understandable and have played a role in bringing new material to light, they also contribute to the circulation of information that is difficult for the public to interpret accurately. Legal documents are complex and require careful analysis. Without that analysis, partial releases or unverified excerpts can be misinterpreted, sometimes with reputational consequences for those mentioned. This dynamic has been evident in online discussions about Meghan Markle. Reports and rumors about her alleged presence in Epstein-related contexts have been repeatedly fact-checked, and no evidence has emerged to support claims that she visited Epstein properties or had any connection to his criminal network. Her name has been mentioned in documents only in contextual discussions or references to news articles, not as part of witness testimony or verified records of criminal activity. Despite this, speculation continues to circulate, demonstrating the challenge of separating verified information from sensational narratives. Kim Kardashian has also been a focus of online discussion, though for different reasons. Her extensive social media presence and high-profile public life mean that any mention of her name tends to attract attention quickly. When new documents are released, discussions about her activities are often framed in the most dramatic terms, sometimes conflating social interactions with potential criminal conduct. This pattern reflects a broader cultural tendency to scrutinize celebrity behavior in ways that do not apply to private individuals, amplifying the effect of misinterpretation. The combination of legal complexity, social media amplification, and cultural fascination with scandal creates a situation in which public figures are often unfairly linked to events without clear evidence. In the case of both Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian, their high visibility and public personas have made them targets for speculation. Understanding this requires recognizing the difference between documented facts and conjecture, and acknowledging that the court of public opinion operates under very different rules from the legal system. Media literacy is a crucial skill in navigating these discussions. Readers and viewers need to critically assess claims, check sources, and consider the context in which a name appears in documents. Without that critical approach, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing speculation, which can perpetuate misinformation. For high-profile legal cases like the Epstein files, the stakes are particularly high because reputations and careers can be affected by unverified claims. One important aspect to consider is how narratives evolve over time. Initial reports may emphasize sensational elements, which then circulate widely before corrections or clarifications are issued. Even when later reporting corrects misinformation, the original impression often persists in online discussions. This is a phenomenon known as the stickiness of misinformation, where the first exposure to a claim tends to have a stronger impact than subsequent clarifications. The legal system also has mechanisms for managing sensitive information, including sealed records, redactions, and controlled releases. These measures are intended to protect the rights of individuals and ensure due process. However, they also create gaps in publicly available information, which can fuel speculation. When combined with social media dynamics, even minor references or procedural mentions in legal documents can be misinterpreted as significant evidence of involvement. In addition to understanding the mechanisms of misinformation, it is important to recognize the psychological and social drivers behind public interest in these cases. Celebrity culture, fascination with scandal, and the desire to connect disparate events into a coherent narrative all contribute to the rapid spread of rumors. The Epstein case, involving extreme abuse of power and high-profile individuals, naturally attracts intense scrutiny. This attention is amplified by online platforms that reward engagement, meaning posts that suggest shocking connections or secret knowledge are more likely to be shared. Despite the intensity of speculation, the central principle remains that verified evidence must guide conclusions. In the case of Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian, careful review of the documents released to date indicates that neither individual has been implicated in Epstein's criminal activities. Their names may appear in documents for contextual reasons, but there is no verified evidence connecting them to criminal conduct. Recognizing this distinction is crucial for anyone trying to make sense of the ongoing media coverage. Finally, the continued public scrutiny serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of high-profile criminal cases on society. The Epstein case is not only a legal matter, it is also a social and cultural phenomenon. It highlights the ways in which power, privilege, and access intersect with public perception, media coverage, and online speculation. For those named in documents, the consequences can be substantial, regardless of whether there is any evidence of wrongdoing. For the public, the challenge is to navigate the complex information landscape with critical thinking, discernment, and an understanding of the difference between documented facts and speculation. The story of the Epstein files and the way it intersects with figures like Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian demonstrates the complex interplay between legal proceedings, media narratives, and public interpretation. As more documents continue to be reviewed and reported on, maintaining a fact-based perspective is essential. Speculation can be compelling, but it is not evidence. Understanding the difference between correlation and causation, context and accusation is key to navigating these stories responsibly. At the core of the discussion is the need for accuracy and careful interpretation. While social media and entertainment news thrive on dramatic framing, responsible engagement with these topics requires critical thinking. Readers should examine the original sources, assess the context of mentions, and distinguish between evidence-supported claims and conjecture. By doing so, it becomes possible to follow the ongoing developments in the Epstein case without conflating rumors with facts or misinterpreting the complex documents that form the foundation of this unprecedented public discussion. In conclusion, the ongoing scrutiny of high-profile figures in the Epstein files highlights how easily perception can diverge from reality. Both Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian have had their names discussed in public discourse, often inaccurately, and yet a careful reading of the evidence shows no verified connection to criminal activity. The lessons from this process are clear. Critical thinking, attention to context, and reliance on verified documentation are essential tools for anyone engaging with stories about power, privilege, and public figures. By approaching these complex cases with care, we can better understand the facts, resist the spread of misinformation, and engage in a discussion that is informed, balanced, and responsible. The Epstein case is likely to remain in public attention for years as new documents emerge and further analysis is conducted. In the meantime, maintaining a focus on verified facts rather than speculation is crucial. Public figures will continue to be scrutinized, and the challenge for the media and the public is to ensure that the narratives that form around these names are grounded in reality, not assumption. Only by separating documented information from online conjecture can we approach this ongoing story in a manner that is fair, accurate, and reflective of the truth.